Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. We are continuing our clairability series, and today we will be talking about clairsentience. And there are so many subtle and nuanced clairabilities that I will not discuss in this series, but highly recommend looking up. The four I will be discussing are clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. And as a whole, I think all of the available clairabilities have been over mystified in pop culture. I do think that was orchestrated on purpose, but that's a whole other video, and I won't get into that today. But what I will do is emphasize how important it is to connect to these clairabilities so you can use these extraordinary senses to better your own life, the life of your loved ones, and the life of the collective as a whole. And as I mentioned, today we're discussing clairsentience, which is essentially just psychic feeling. It's our ability to pick up on frequencies and vibrations through our bodies. It's like a language without words and uses physical sensation to bridge the gap between the unseen forces and our physical world. With clairsentience, you might experience different physical sensations, things like goosebumps or chills or fluctuations in your body temperature. There could be numbness or tingles or twitching or spontaneous gasps of air out of nowhere, or even jolts of phantom pain somewhere in your body. Maybe you've been with somebody who says, "Oh, I have a headache," and then all of a sudden your head starts to dully ache. Or they'll say, "Oh, I rolled my ankle yesterday. It really hurts." And then suddenly you can feel the pain as if you just rolled your ankle as well. Those are all forms of clairsentience. And this ability can be used for both physical sensation as well as empathetic and emotional pain as well. If somebody around you is going through a really tough time, you may feel that hurt in your heart as if it's your own. And of course, the sensations vary from person to person. Some people will have a higher level of the physical clairsentience and a lower level of the empathetic, or vice versa, higher empathy and lower physical, or they might just be extremely heightened in both areas or a little bit duller in both areas. And that's part of the beauty of discovering and playing around with the clair so you can understand which aspects are more lit up for you so you can utilize it to your advantage. If you've ever had any sort of Kundalini experience or awakening, that is the peak of the essence of clairsentience at work in your body. And if you have never experienced it for yourself, it's essentially just a sensation or a feeling of all of the molecules in your body individually. You can feel as they morph and flow within and out of one another, and it is just spectacular. You can seriously feel every single atom in your being. And not only that, you can feel how these atoms interact with the space and the environment around you. And that is exactly the essence that clairsentience represents. It is a recognition of our bodies being one with the environment and the universe around us, and the ability to allow ourselves to open up to be physically moved by the experience. While the physical sensations are going to be very prominently felt, the messages they deliver may be more subtle. And sometimes people with heightened clairsentience can get in the habit of overthinking the messages that come through. And that essentially happens because as the clairsentient messages do deliver into our bodies, sometimes we feel our bodies can't handle it. So our consciousness pushes us out of our bodies and into our mind. And ultimately, it's just a coping mechanism because the sensations you're feeling might be too overwhelming for you at that time or at that level of awareness. And our consciousness only does this so we can protect ourselves from overwhelming ourselves or taking on too much too quickly. And sometimes when this occurs, we're not consciously aware of it. We can just feel a shift that we're not really totally sure what's going on. But when you do approach it with that awareness of, okay, I moved from my body to my mind, it is so important to understand it's coming from a place of love and protection. And this protection and this love should be honored and not judged. When you do feel that shift from your body to your mind, give your consciousness thanks, give your body thanks, show yourself gratitude, and understand that it's only happening because you might be doing too much too soon. And rather than pushing too hard and potentially sending yourself into some sort of trance or psychosis, your consciousness is protecting you so you can ease into it and learn as you go. But with that said, be very, very mindful and aware of when this shift from your body to your mind is happening out of love versus when it's happening out of fear. Our bodies can handle a lot more than we give it credit for. It's our minds that want to quit too soon. If you've ever taken any sort of workout class, like a hot yoga or a Pilates class, your mind will tell you to give up leagues before your body is ready to finally collapse. And if you've been on the side where you're telling your mind, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, you recognize how much farther you can push. If you're holding a plank and your mind's telling you, no, you need to get down, and you push past that, you'll find you can hold it for another 30 seconds, 45, a minute, 2 minutes. You can hold it so much longer than your brain tries to tell you you can. And that's the exact awareness we need to move with when we are working with clairsentience. Yes, if you have heightened clairsentience, sometimes the physical sensation seems like more than you can handle, and you tap into that frequency of fear. Oh my God, what is happening? How is it happening? This is too overwhelming. And you jump into your mind to calm the rest of your body. That's when it's not done out of love because you're scared your body cannot handle it. So you actively turn off your senses to appease your mind rather than protect your body. This migration from the body to the mind can be used as a crutch or a coping mechanism, preventing you from going as deeply into yourself or connecting as deeply to what's around you as you are capable. One important thing to remember when learning about and working with clairsentience is that your body will not let you take on more than you can handle. Your mind tries to trick you into thinking you cannot handle everything that's coming through, but you are so divinely protected. You are only being delivered these sensations because you are ready to take that next step on your spiritual journey into tapping in more deeply to your unconscious self so you can be delivered the messages from the unconscious, from the ether realms to your conscious being. And if you catch yourself shifting into the mind when you really believe that your body is ready for it, you can take certain steps to move back from the mind into your body once more. And that first step is simple, it's tapping into that gratitude. It's honoring your body and thanking it for its sensitivity, recognizing that these senses aren't a burden. Your sensitivity is not a burden, it's a superpower. Your ability to connect with energies that are unseen and beyond this realm is a gift. Step one is being grateful for the powers that you behold. Step two would be just slowly shifting yourself and trying to tap back into those senses you were feeling just before the mind took over and turned that switch off. But rather than trying to jump back into the height of that physical sensation, slowly ease back into it. Try to tap into it at its lowest level. This is the best way to approach it so you don't jump right back into the deep end, get overwhelmed again, and jump right back into your mind. And as you slowly start to tap into those physical sensations, do your absolute best not to run away from them. Don't try to suppress the sensation, even if you're not doing it consciously. Take it as slow as necessary and honor each feeling, each step of the process. Once you're tapped back into that state where you can feel what's happening in your body, you can feel the wisdom flowing through you, you can feel the quantum field speaking to you through these sensations. Slowly begin to ask yourself yes or no questions so you can learn how this quantum field sends you these messages. This will help you get greater clarity on your everyday life and every time you try to enter this field. This will help you understand what a yes feels like in your body versus a no. And it's always best to start with yes or no questions just to keep it simple. And feeling how it feels in your body, start with yes or no questions you know the answer to. For example, you had an omelet of potatoes for breakfast as you're sitting in that quantum field. Did I have toast for breakfast? That would be a no. You feel how that no feels for you. Did I have eggs for breakfast? Yes, you didn't specify, but yes, you did have eggs for breakfast. You can feel. For me personally, the yes is an expansion of my heart where the no is a contraction. That's how I identify it for myself, but it might be different for you. A yes might be chills all over your body, where a no is like a slight dullness that you feel somewhere. It's always individualized, and that's why it's so important to be curious and play around with how the field interacts with you when dealing with these clairs. And the greatest piece of advice I can give for people trying to tap into their clairsentience is to trust. Trust the feelings and the sensations and trust it enough to move towards it with curiosity. Be playful with it and welcome it with love. And if you're somebody that is really sensitive to the energies around you to the point where it can be hard to move through big crowds or go to concerts or anything like that, be sure once you start to experiment with these energies that you're doing it in a safe and comfortable environment. This will also help you discern what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you because you're able to tap into your own energy when you're in your own space doing these beginning meditations. These clairs truly are a superpower when you approach them with the reverence they deserve. And once you are able to work with them consciously, they can bring you towards the alignment of your life that you deserve to live. And not only that, they can steer you clear of anything that is not truly meant for you. And of course, if you have any questions when playing in the field, you can always ask me. You can tell me about your experiences too. I would love to hear them. We are all here to walk each other home, and the more I can encourage people to tap into these divine superpowers within themselves, the greater the world becomes, the more loving the world becomes, the more connected the world becomes. And I have chills all over my body right now. Talk about clairsentience. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, leave a comment if you've ever experimented with your clairsentience and how it's helped your life improve. Thank you guys. I love you so much.